What's up, YouTube? Tim Moose here. Well, since October is of course on her is on its very few mirror. There's a lot of movies I did saw in the month of October. Some good, some not so good. So I'm of course doing my ranking of the films I saw in October, from my least favorite to my two films I thought just was okay to my fully favorite. All right. Um, of course, I saw pretty much 31 films in October. I probably could have seen more, but there was actually a couple of I wanted to see, but never really got around to it. But these are the films I was able to put together. So, all right, number 31, the worst film I saw in the month of October is actually not the worst film is not Joker 2, believe it or not. It's Hellboy, the Crooked, the Crooked Man. Oh my god. Now I can see why they decided to release this thing to VOD instead of theirs. I was able to watch it free online, and holy cow, the, this movie is probably even worse than that Hellboy one with David Harbour. I mean, it's a shame too because it do have people that I do enjoy. Like the guy who plays I forgot the actor's name. The guy who plays Jeffrey on Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He was actually in this. I like Jack Casey, who was in Deadpool 2. It's also from the same people who gave us Gamer, Crank. I'm like, I really hope they go back to do another Crank movie because, man, like there are other stuff. I believe they did Jonah Hex too, if I'm not mistaken, and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. They haven't really put out a movie that like. Although one of them did do that Nicolas Cage Mom and Dad movie, which was pretty decent, so I'll give them that. But Hellboy Crooked Man is just so terrible, so boring. Really felt like a fan made film. I mean, this makes the David Harbour one look like an Oscar winner. So yeah. All right. Number 30 is Venom: The Last Dance. I really wanted to like this too. I enjoyed the first two Venom movies. But of course, Sony's other previous like Spider-Man spin-offs like Morbius, Madam Web wasn't great. So I had some hopes for this. It's an awful, awful mess. Some of the dialogue didn't work out well. I mean, some of the like dumb stuff that happens to it is terrible. It gets pretty boring at times. Like the best part is obviously the dynamic between Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Venom. Like when they're on screen and they have interactions together, it works. But out of that, didn't do anything for me. And I'll be okay if we don't see another Venom film. So yeah. All right, number 29. I know people probably have this as their worst one, but my last two I thought was one terrible. Number 29 is Joker Full ADX. Now, again, I didn't really hate Joker. For, I'm just gonna call it Joker 2. I didn't hate Joker 2 as most people did, but I would agree it was a letdown. Didn't really, the story aspects wasn't great. You know, um, it really missed the point of what made the first Joker so unique and terrific. And the music was actually decent. Walking Phoenix was pretty good. Lady Gaga was terrific. But also, the guy who played Gary, Leah Gill, I think his name is, he actually has this thing that's maybe, probably, I'm not saying this movie should obviously get an Oscar nomination or anything like that, but any of the actors in this deserves an Oscar nomination. It's the one who plays Gary. Like, his courtroom scene is maybe one of the better parts in this film. But other than that, yeah, and of course, it was a complete flop too, so there's that. All right, number 28 is House of Spoils. Now, this one I actually want you to like because you got Ariana DeBose, who I like, Barbie Ferreira, who I like on Euphoria. You got some really people in this I do appreciate. If you guys don't know much about the story, it follows like this chef played by DeBose as she opens up a restaurant in a remote estate where she battled kitchen chaos and stuff, and there's crazy stuff that ensues. It is just not all that scary. It's pretty boring at times. Ariana DeBose does a good job, but other than that, it's not a good film. All right, 27. I'm going with Hold Your Breath. Now, this is another film I wanted to really like. You got Sarah Paulson, who I enjoy. Abba Mas Backrack, of course, from the Bear fame. Speaking of chefs, and it's just a complete snooze fest. Did not care much for the characters. Sarah Paulson does a good job. Wasn't all that scary. I mean, I don't mind a good period piece horror film, but yeah, this just didn't do anything for me. It's actually on Hulu if you're interested. Number 26 is Lonely Planet. Now, of course, this got a Laura Dern who plays like this writer who falls in love with a younger guy played by Liam Hemsworth. Very similar to it's of course like a May December type film, and it's just a really snore fest. Like the chemistry between Dern and Hemsworth didn't do anything for me. It's just, like it was a little boring at times. Didn't really care for her much. The writing, some of the dialogue didn't do anything for me. It's a shame too because I like Liam Hemsworth, I like Laura Dern, but this movie just wasn't for me. All right, number 25 is The Curse of the Necklace. Now, I was able to watch this one on Tubi, and it's a really terrible one. I mean, it does star two young actresses who I think is maybe becoming two of the best screen queens in the business today. You got Vala McGraw, who is a little girl Megan, and you got Madeline McGraw, who is of course in Black Phone. They actually play their parts very well, but yeah, it's of course where like this young girl who is gifted with a antique necklace, and her daughters uncover and of course they uncover like a sinister force here, and it's just so boring. It's like not all that scary. Nothing about really fascinating. I mean, it had a good premise. You also had Henry Thomas from E.T. was in this. You had some decent supporting players, but yeah, now I can see why they decided to release thing mostly to streaming rather than theaters. It's a really snooze fest. I mean, at least both the McGraw sisters have something better next year. Violet, of course, in Megan 2.0, while Madeline will be in the upcoming Black Phone 2. So at least they got some other cool stuff. But yeah. All right. Number 24 is another film I was actually hoping to enjoy, and that is Goodrich. Of course, you got Michael Keaton, who is actually pretty good in this. Mila Kunis is good. It didn't really do anything for me. Like I actually saw this one in Dares, literally almost snooze off. It's just not all that great. It's a little boring to be honest. Michael Keaton plays his part well. Mila Kunis was okay. Of course, you have like Michael Keaton going back to the Mr. Mom route, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, it's just like nothing about it really was fascinating. This is actually from directed by Nancy Meyers' daughter, which was pretty cool. But yeah, the movie just didn't do anything for me. All right, number 23 is another film I was hoping to enjoy, and that is Brothers. Now, Brothers, of course, stars Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage, and this movie just wasn't all that funny. Like, some of the most funny parts was probably the Brendan Fraser role. Like, Brendan Fraser had some fun moments in this, but other than that, the film just really fell flat. It's a shame too because this director also did that Andy Samberg Palm not Palm Royale Palm Palm something I forgot forgot the name of it. But that I think it was called Palm Royale or Palm some. It of course had Chrissy alive. Forgot the full name of that, but I mean, I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, this film here just wasn't all that funny. Didn't care much for the characters at all. Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin was okay, but even they didn't do anything to save the film. I mean, it's just not a good one. All right, now here are some of the films I actually thought was okay. 22 is White Bird, which is of course a follow up, if you will, of Wonder, which actually serves as like a prequel and a sequel, if you will. Of course, it's about like the kid who actually bullied Augie in the first film in Wonder, and it was cool seeing him pop up in this. Of course, Hell. This is actually pretty much told to the story of Helen Mirren's character, and it's actually an okay one. I mean, it's not as good as let's say Wonder was. Like I think Wonder is much better, but it's still an okay one. Gillian Anderson was pretty decent. I like the flashback moments here. It's a really decent one worth giving a go. 21 is Cotter Lake, which of course stars Dylan O'Brien, and he actually played his part very well in this. Produced by M. Night Shyamalan, lots of crazy twists and turns around, pretty entertaining throughout. I mean, a really decent a really decent mystery thriller worth giving a go. All right, number 20 is Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot actually though was okay. I mean, then like isn't gonna be like my top 10 favorite horror or my top 20 favorite horror films of the year, nothing like that. But it definitely has some crazy creep factors in it. Of course, based on a book by Stephen King. Like some of the bloodshed that happened. As Lewis Pullman playing Ben Mears was good. I mean, it's a really decent adaptation worth giving a go. It's on Max if you guys haven't seen it. Number 19 is Carve. Now, Carve isn't a great film, but it is a lot of fun. This is of course about a killer pumpkin. It's on Hulu. It is entertaining. It's really fun. It's really intriguing. Now the characters aren't likable, I admit, but I still just love seeing the pumpkin just take down some of the unlikable characters in this, and some of the kills is more bloody than I expected. I mean, this movie feels like a very cheesy, like those cheesy '80s films. Like, remember Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? Definitely reminds me of that in a way. I mean, if you guys have not seen Carve, definitely give Carve a go. All right, number 18 is Mr. Crockett. Mr. Crockett was pretty cool. Of course, this is pretty much like where a mysterious children's show host, Mr. Crockett, emerges from television sets to kidnap children and take out their parents who like abuse their kids and stuff. And you, of course, have a mother played by Jericka Hinton who must rescue her son from Mr. Crockett. And this was really interesting. I mean, Mr. Crockett was like, let's say, Mr. Rogers meets Freddy Krueger, and you can definitely see why. And I thought the guy who plays Mr. Crockett, who by the way, Elvis Nicoso, I think his name is, he was also in Carve, so really cool month for Elvis there. I mean, he actually did play his part of Mr. Crockett very well. He was pretty entertaining here. Crazy moments throughout. So, I mean, if you guys haven't seen Mr. Crockett, it's on Hulu. Definitely give that one a go. All right, number 17, I'm going with Stream. Now, this movie actually just had now, of course, this actually did get a theatrical release back in August, but I didn't really get to watch it there, so had to wait till it kind of came on streaming. And Stream is really cool. Of course, this is from the same producers of Terrifier, which I'll talk about Terrifier here in a bit. And of course, you got Jeffrey Combs, of course, from Reanimator fame. As well, like the Keenan family's Simple Weekend Getaway truly turns into a vacation to die for when deranged killers play a game here, and it's a lot of fun. Very bloody. You have some really great horror icons. Like you even got Tim Curry in this, which was pretty cool. Danielle Harris is in this. Who else? Oh, you got Bill Moseley. You got some really cool cast members who I always appreciate. So yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen Stream, it's not as good as let's say the Terrifying movies or anything like that, but it is still pretty fun to check out. All right, number 16. I'm a little embarrassed to really say this, but I actually did not mind it. Uh, Number 16 is Olivia Rodrigo Guts World Tour. I'm sorry, Olivia Rodrigo, that girl could bust out a tune. Like, she could also bust out a really good show here, too. I mean, I feel like if this was actually released this, it probably would have been her era's tour, because how much of a hit Taylor Swift's era tour was last year. But I guess they decided to release this thing to Netflix rather than theirs. But it was a pretty interesting concept film. Some really killer music she put out. I mean that girl could really knows how to bust out a tune very well, and yeah, that girl could sing. And yeah, I mean, "Good for You" is probably my favorite song of hers. All right, number 15, I'm going with Piece by Piece. Of course, the Pharrell Williams Lego documentary, which I thought was a really decent doc. It was directed by the same guy who gave us the Mr. Rogers documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor? Really showcased on who Pharrell was, his childhood, growing up. You even have Legos of the likes of MLK, Malcolm X, which I thought was really cool. I mean, it's a really decent one. Of course, this is like the first like Lego movie that Universal put out. Of course, they're doing more stuff down the line. So if you guys haven't seen Piece by Piece, give it a go. You might enjoy it. All right. Number 14, I'm going with The Apprentice. The election is, by the way, this week. So, of course, last month, I saw a movie about Donald Trump, which that could have been went sideways and stuff. And you know what? It was actually not so bad. Sebastian Stan, gave an amazing performance as the role of Trump. Jeremy Strong, who I think deserves an Oscar nomination for playing Roy Cohen. Maria Bakalova's terrific. Really showcased on lots of stuff that happened to Trump, like his days of of a landlord in New York and stuff like that, and his like friendship with Roy Cohen. I mean, it's a really intriguing one. Sebastian Stan played. He's actually in this list twice, by the way. But Sebastian Stan played Trump just perfectly. He embodied the role of Trump well. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely give it a go. And I already know MAGA supporters are gonna be poo poo on this because, yeah, probably tell some lies, but I don't care. It's still a pretty decent one. All right. Number 13, I'm going with Time Cut. It's not a great film or anything like that, but it's still pretty cool. You know, Tony Gentry, of course, from what you call Genie and Georgia fame. The girl from Outer Banks was in this. I mean, it's a really entertaining one. It's not as good as Totally Killer. I still think Totally Killer is the better film, but I actually still thought this was pretty cool to check out. Love the time travel elements. I mean, it was pretty really brought back nostalgia of the 2000s, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, hearing the likes of Avril Lavigne's "Complicated" and Hilary Duff's "So Yesterday" was pretty cool. I mean, not a bad little horror film. I mean, it's not a great one. Like, it's not going to be my top 20 or top 30 favorite horror films of the year, but it's still pretty entertaining, nonetheless. And I hope to see Tony Gentry in more horror. Like, whether it's like maybe a Scream film or something, she could do horror pretty well. All right. We also number 12. I'm also gonna add VHS Beyond. I meant to do my review for this, but totally forgot. But VHS Beyond was pretty decent one. Like there is actually a dorks skit in this, a segment in this, which is maybe the best out of the segment. There's also a cool alien segment that I thought was really cool. I mean, the alien one really brings you back to like 80s, 70s alien lore there. I mean, it's a really cool one. It's not the best out of the VHS films, but yeah, it's a really decent one worth giving a go. Of course, there is supposed to be an eighth one coming out next year, so we're going to be getting more VHS movies down the line. So, all right. Number 11, I'm going with It's What's Inside. Now, this one was a pretty creepy one. You know, I thought definitely has like that bit of a, of Torture Me vibe here. Some of the characters was interesting. Like, weren't really all that like likable or anything, but I still thought they played their parts very well here. There was some cool kills to it. Very entertaining here. Brittany O'Grady from White Lotus fame was pretty decent in this. I mean, I had a fun time with this. Very creepy, and I'll be down to see a sequel if they ever make one. All right, now here is my official top 10 movies of October. Number 10 is Smile 2. Now, I still probably prefer the first Smile, but Smile 2 was still pretty decent. Naomi Scott gave an amazing performance. Like, if I actually could say who gave a better performance between Sosie Bacon in the first Smile and Naomi Scott in this, I think Naomi Scott gave the better performance. And I like Sosie Bacon, she's always terrific. But between the two, I think Naomi Scott gave the better performance of Smile. Kyle Gallner, it was cool seeing him pop up in this. Very creepy throughout. The ending definitely is interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Dirt Smile down the line, but Smile 2 is a really cool one. Number 9 is The Shadow Strays. Now, this is actually a Teneri's like a international film here, and an Indonesian film. My bad. And The Shadow Strays is a lot of fun. Definitely has a little feels like, let's say, an Indonesian version of The Raid. Definitely got a little bit of the Raid vibe in this, and the movie is very fun and entertaining. You know, it's directed by I don't know how to pronounce his name. Timo Tajanto, I think his name is. He also is doing the upcoming sequel to Nobody. My God, I tell you right now, if the director of John Wick decides to hang up and not do another John Wick movie and hand the reins off to someone else, this guy could easily direct a John Wick film. I will love to see that. You know, the action in this is excellent. You know, the one who plays I don't know how Aurora something. I forgot her Aurora Rivera, I think her name is. I don't know how fully pronounce her name, but the lead girl is excellent in this. I want to see her in more action in the future. They're talking about like doing a new Tomb Raider. This girl here will be a great Lara Croft. I think she'll be better than the two leads that are being that Sophie Turner and Lucy, who are actually you know, being tested for the role. I would love to see her in more stuff, whether it's a comic book role, more action down the line. This girl has some really cool action chops, and the gore in this is excellent. I mean, if you guys have not seen the Shadow Strays, no, I don't really watch too much international films as I should. Like The Raid's pretty cool. I mean, there are like four movies I do appreciate. This is definitely one of the better four movies out there. So definitely give the Shadow Strays a go. All right, number 8, I'm going with Don't Move. Now, the girl from Yellowstone, Kelsey Elsbill, she gave an amazing performances. I mean, she mostly didn't really move throughout, like but just like some of the stuff that she did in this is very intense. It's more like a killer who ejects her with a paralytic agent, and a woman must run, fight, and hide before her body completely shuts down. And you can feel it. Like it's a little slow at times, I admit, but Kelsey Elsbell really was so um was so amazing in that she really played a part very well. Finn Wittrock, who you know what, I think he'll be a perfect Joker now. Like he has that creepy look perfectly, and I'll love to see him do more creepy stuff in the future. And here he really played creepy well. All right, number 7, I'm going with We Live in Time. Of course, this is the romance film with Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh. They really play off each other very well. It's a very sad film, worth giving a go. Uh, Garfield and Pugh gave a terrific, amazing performance. I'd love to see them in another film together in the future. I mean, there is actually rumors that both Elena and Garfield could appear in Secret Wars, so we might get them in that. I don't know, but still, if you guys haven't seen it, it's not like one of the best films I've seen this year, but it's a really decent one worth giving a go. All right, number 6 is another Sebastian Stan film, and that is A Different Man. A Different Man is very weird, but it's really terrific. Adam Pearson, of course, you might know him from Under the Skin fame with Scarlett Johansson. He is terrific in this. I think he deserves an Oscar nomination. He of course just got a Gotham nomination this past week. Sebastian Stan, like I still don't know which one he was better in between this or playing Trump in The Apprentice. I guess he actually did give a better performance in this probably, but yeah, really cool month for Sebastian Stan. Technically, this movie got released in not August, in September, but didn't really get to see it until October. But it's still really just one worth giving a go. Alright. I mean, if you guys don't really know much about the story, by the way, it's where like an aspiring actor undergoes this racial medical procedure to transform his appearance, and his like dream new face soon turns into a nightmare here, and it's a really treating one. The makeup is great. Adam Pearson's terrific. I forgot the girl's name from that film, The Worst Person in the World. Renee Renslav, I think her name is. She was terrific in this. Give it a go if you guys haven't seen that. All right, number 5 is Super Slash Man, the Christopher Reeve story. Guys, do yourself a favor, go watch this. You're definitely gonna have some tears in your eyes. It really showcased on who Christopher Reeve on his life, and of course his relationship with Robin Williams. I mean, yeah, it's a really sad one. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. Maybe one of the better documentaries I've seen since maybe the Mr. Rogers doc. Highly recommend it. All right, number 4, I'm going with Woman of the Hour. Of course, this is directed and starring Anna Kendrick, where of course she ends up going on a date with a serial killer on a game show, and it's a terrific one. Maybe one of Netflix's best films this year. I mean, I still never consider it should be fully horror, but there are some very creepy moments in this, like especially the car scene where she actually goes on a date with the guy, and it gets very intense. Like you actually saw in the trailer. Whew, yeah, that will. And I will also say, this one actress, Nicola Robinson, definitely deserves an Oscar nomination for her performance. The guy who plays Ronnie Alcott, Daniel Zavato, was great. give this one a go if you guys haven't seen it. Number 3 is Saturday Night. Of course, the film about the opening of Saturday Night Live, and it's a terrific one. Directed by Jason Reitman, starring Gabriel LaBelle, the actors who plays the SNL players like Corey Michael Smith, who plays Chevy Chase, Ella Hunt, who plays Gilda Radner, Dylan O'Brien, who plays Dan Aykroyd. They all really play off each other very well. Ella Hunt, by the way, who plays Gilda Radner. My God, talk about great performance right there. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Saturday Night, by the list of the box office, not many people saw it. But do yourself a favor, go watch Saturday Night. It's a really terrific one. Jason Reitman, I think, is obviously one of the greatest filmmakers there is. He really directed this perfectly. Love the cast. It's very funny throughout. Great dialogue. Highly recommend it. Number 2 is, of course, Terrifier 3. I probably could have added this as my number 1 favorite, but my number 1 I do appreciate a little more. Terrifier 3, I love. I still probably think this. I still don't know if this is actually better than part 2, but I still so highly enjoyed it so much. It's just as it amped up the goriness. It's very fun. David Harradorian just plays Arthur Clown perfectly. Laura Lavera as Sienna is terrific. I adore this film a lot. I saw it about 2 times a year. It's really entertaining. It's as gory. God, I can't wait to see more Terrifier. We're probably not going to see another Terrifier until 2026, I'm guessing. But hey, the way it would be worth it. Alright, now my number 1 favorite movie I saw of. Now, number 1, the best movie I saw in the month of October is Anora, which is, of course, about a dancer from Brooklyn who meets and possibly marries the son of this oligarch. Oligarch, I can never pronounce the name there. One, and of course it reaches Russia, and the kid's dad comes in and tries to break up their marriage and stuff. Mikey Madison, who you might know as Ember from the recent Scream film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, let's be real, she is probably one of the hottest actresses in the business. If you guys know what I mean. If you guys watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or her in Scream 5, you know why I say she's one of the hottest actresses in Hollywood. But yeah, she really plays her part very well in this. I think she deserves an Oscar nomination, or screw that, she deserves a win. Um, she is just incredible in this. Sean Baker, I'm just saying right now, he is literally becoming one of my favorite filmmakers in the business. He came on. I think he did another film beforehand, but the first thing I saw of his was Tangerine, which was excellent. I don't think that was his first film though. It was something else, but anyway, of course, he did The Florida Project, which was amazing. Red Rocket, which ended up being out. Spider-Man No Way Home as my favorite film of that year. And you know what? My favorite film of 2024 was Deadpool and Wolverine. But you know what? Anora just might have actually beat Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know how Sean Baker does it. Like, he literally makes films that actually beat out a combo film as my favorite film of the year. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, Sean Baker, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him do a comic book film, but he made some sort of comics that doesn't look like he'll ever get into the comic book genre at all. But never say never, I guess. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Nora, this definitely has Oscars written all over it. Do yourself a favor, go watch Nora. There is lots of, let's say, risque stuff in this. I will admit that. If you can handle some of that stuff, highly recommend it. If not, wouldn't recommend it. But it's a very good artistic one, so give it a go. Anyway, that's pretty much it there. Now, here is my quick rundown. 31, Hellboy the Crooked Man. 30, Venom the Last Dance. 29, Joker Folie à Deux. 28, House of Spoils. 27, Hold Your Breath. 26, Lonely Planet. 25, The Curse of the Necklace. 24, Goodrich. 23, Brothers. 22, White Bird. 21, Cotto Lake. 20, Salem's Lot. 19, Carve. 18, Mr. Crockett. 17, Stream. 16, Olivia Rodrigo, Guts World Tour. 15, Piece by Piece. 14 The Apprentice, 13 Time Cut, 12 VHS Beyond, 11 It's What's Inside, 10 Smile 2, 9 The Shadow Strays, 8 Don't Move, 7 We Live in Time, 6 A Different Man, 5 Super Slash Man, the Christopher Reeve story, 4 Women of the Hour, 3 Saturday Night, 2 Terrifier 3, and number 1 is Anora. Let me let you guys. How would you rank, any films you saw in October? From like the best to like what was some of the worst films you saw in October, some of the best films you saw in October. Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notification. This is Simon Sign.